Hey friends, Sarah here, and I'm coming to you straight from my living room couch in a hoodie with a cold, excuse this red nose, in the middle of the day because I had to give you an update on my life because I made a massive change. And I actually didn't tell anyone that I was doing it other than, my husband, my sister, my mom. uh, I quit my job. I quit my 9 to 5 job. And it is the scariest and craziest and probably best thing I've done for myself in so long. So let me rewind a little bit. For years and years, I was a freelancer. I worked from home as a writer and an editor, and I did a lot of media, television, and radio. But it was all contract work, it was all freelance. And I was really, I'd say 2.5 years ago, I was kind of at the peak of that. I was making the most money I'd ever make. I was working all the time. Like I was busy 24/7. I was turning things down. And then there was a shift in the media landscape, and I started receiving fewer and fewer offers because there were fewer and fewer jobs, and more people were joining the freelance marketplace. And so I was suddenly, and really it came out of the blue for me, although it might not have come out of the blue for other people, I was suddenly competing against people who used to hire me for freelance work. They were now freelancers because they'd been laid off or lost their jobs. I was going up against people who had 20, 30, 40 years in the industry when I had 3 years in the industry. And I just found that there were fewer and fewer opportunities. I was having to take less money and do even more work than I'd ever done before. And this shift was so quick that it was beyond scary. And it scared me so much that when my television contract came up for renewal, instead of renewing with the TV show that I had been hosting, I chose to take a steady 9 to 5 office job in marketing and communications. And at the time, I did it because I was scared. I was scared that my freelance work was running out. I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to freelance, for the next 20 years. I'm in my 30s now, but I always think ahead. What am I going to do when I'm 45? Would anyone hire me to be on TV? What am I going to do when I'm 50? Will anyone care what I have to say on my blog? So I became so afraid that I wasn't going to be getting freelance work that I took a 9 to 5. And it was at a fantastic place, like an amazing place. And I thought to myself, it's such a good place. I'm going to be doing really important work. I'm going to be able to figure out a way to be happy in an office job. Turns out, I actually cannot find a way to be happy in an office job. I turned into a miserable human being. Not because I didn't feel that the work I was doing was important, not because I didn't feel that the work was fulfilling. All of it, that is true. It was important work, it was fulfilling work, and I think I was doing good work, but I hated being in an office. I could not stand that 9 to 5 staring at a computer screen, the office politics, office gossip, just everything that comes along, excuse my itchy nose, everything that comes along with being in an office, even just the constraints on my time. Because remember, I'd freelanced for all these years before where I didn't have constraints on my time. If a kid was sick, I stayed home, no biggie. If I needed to get something done, I'd work till 2 in the morning and then I'd take the next morning off. And I had that kind of time freedom. And so as much as I had been so afraid of freelance work drying up and me never working again, I don't know why that was my fear, but it was. I realized that I actually hated the office life, the constraints, the constrictions, having to have everything approved, having to sit in meetings, all of that. I hated that more than the fear and uncertainty of freelancing. But if you know me in real life at all, you will know that I don't give up that easily. So I thought maybe it's this particular 9 to 5 job that I'm not in love with. Maybe it's this particular one that I'm not passionate about. So I went and took a different 9 to 5 job, this time in the corporate world. And no, what I learned is that I actually just hate 9 to 5 jobs. It does not fit in my lifestyle. And I will tell you right now, I made more money working a 9 to 5 than I actually make freelancing. But the idea of not having the time freedom, not having the mind freedom, the creative freedom, the ability to work on projects that I'm really passionate about or turn down projects that I'm not going to be interested in doing, all of that is worth more to me, I've discovered, than money or stability in a 9 to 5. So, as I tend to do, I stayed and stayed and stayed in my 9 to 5. And so it ends up that for the past 18 months, I've been working a 9 to 5 office job until I just couldn't do it anymore. And I just had to be honest with myself and know that it does not fit my personality. It does not fit the way I work. It does not fit the kind of work I want to do. And I took this crazy, crazy leap of faith and quit my 9 to 5. So, as of this past Monday, I am back to full-time freelancing. What is that going to entail? At this point, I don't even 100% know. I'm working on 3 or 4 different contracts right now. Some of them are for social media. Some of them are for writing. I'm developing a couple of new blog things that I'm really, really, really excited about, and a brand new brand for Sleeping is for Losers, which is my blog. And I'm just kind of figuring out what the desires of my heart are. And I want to be really honest here. I'm not doing this in a flighty way. I can tell you, and anyone who knows me can tell you, that as much as I might seem like I just jump and don't think, I've actually thought about it a lot. I have notebook upon notebook full of plans and lists and ideas and thoughts and multiple streams of income and multiple ideas of things I can do. I'm still afraid. I'm still afraid of that thing that made me leave freelancing in the first place. I'm afraid that no one will hire me. I'm afraid I'm never going to get work. I'm afraid that it will all blow away and I will be a complete and utter failure and everyone will think that I am just a mess. I'm afraid of that all the time. But I know really deep down that the work I'm supposed to be doing and the life that I'm supposed to be leading involves writing, involves social media management, involves television, involves radio, involves those creative things that really fill my soul, make me feel whole, make me excited to get up and work, make me want to stay up till 2 a.m. and then get back up at 5 a.m. because that's how thrilled I am to work on these projects. They don't always bring me as much money as a traditional 9 to 5, and they certainly don't bring me any stability, but they absolutely fill my soul. And really, in the end, that is what is so crucial for me to work really well. And not just to work really well, but to be a great wife and to be a great mom and to be a good friend and to be a human being who really contributes. And as much as that sounds a bit airy-fairy, it's also very practical and realistic. So I'm heading out on an entrepreneurial journey. I'm not even entirely sure where it's going to go, and that's exciting and scary all at the same time, but I'd love for you to join me. I want to bring you along. If you are not on my social media, please, I'll leave the links down below. Join me on my social media. Join me on my entrepreneurial journey, and if you are on your own entrepreneurial journey or you're thinking about taking a leap of faith and leaving your safe 9 to 5, I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you leave me a comment down below and cheer me on. Please cheer me on, because it's a scary, scary thing to be in your 30s and to go back to square one when it comes to freelancing. Until next time.